Hey there, it's once again Sunday morning, and I once again released the video on, well, not making, but improving this thing right here. And I'm going to drop it. Major improvements. Well, the biggest improvement is to add these 3 holes here that I very carefully lined up for this pin, if I can pull it out. A little tight in the hole. Wow. What if I loosen the handle? There, it comes right out. This pin fits in and it holds it at that exact angle. Now, what I didn't show in the video was the part where I had to actually make, wow, my stop keeps sliding, make this center pivot here a better fit because it was a bit too sloppy when I did it. And that's what happens when you're doing a video. You're not as careful as you should be because you're doing 2 jobs and you're trying to get it done. And you know that you can hide these things in the video, right? I can easily hide the fact that it wasn't as tight as it should be. But to make it tighter, I just sprayed on several coats of the same finish that I used on the protractor. I didn't finish the fence. I did finish the protractor, as in sprayed on several coats of this satin spray in a spray can. And I did that with the pivot, and that built it out enough so that it was a tighter fit in there, a more precise fit. And so that works better. Yeah, the holes are arranged at 90 degrees, 22.5 degrees, and 45 degrees. These are the 3 common angles that you'll have it at. And originally I was going to put them over here as well, but I said to myself, you're never going to use those. With these improvements, the jig is now good, in my opinion. It's worth making. Before, like, it's just too difficult. Even with the professionally made metal ones, to line up the mark, the pointer with the mark that's on here, accurately enough to get the kind of precision that you need, especially for something like an octagonal frame like I did with the pieces that I cut, you know. You're going to get close, but it won't be close enough. What you'll have to do is glue 4 of them together, and then 4 of them together, and then flatten the pieces that mate together so that it goes together properly. And that works. I mean, that's the standard way that everybody does, but it's also, you know, an extra step that you have to do. And it's probably the best step anyway. Like, even if you got a really super tight fit, it's probably better to glue up 2 segments, 2 segments, 2 segments, 2 segments, then glue 2 and 2 together, 2 and 2 together, and then glue the whole half and half together after you do minor corrections there. Even if you're getting like super precision, right? That guarantees that you're getting the tightest joints possible. And also makes it easier to clamp up. You can do it with a strap clamp, but it's like a nightmare trying to clamp that thing up. Now, you can improve how accurate the pointer would be by replacing the pointer itself with a subscale, in that it'll work like a vernier caliper, right? And then it'll be a segment of scale that's about this wide. And the reason why that's more accurate is that you have several lines that will line up with the lines that are on here. And your eye can do that better than it can a single pointer pointing to a line. As in, you know, you'd have a section that is around 10 degrees here that's attached to this part instead of this pointer. And the scale, you'd line up the marks on the scale across. But then you'd have to try to you'd have to try to print that so it matches this thing here, right? Which would be a little bit difficult because, like I said, there's a website that I went to that I designed this protractor, and it was a full circle. It gives you 2 chances at doing this, and actually I ruined the first piece. Another mistake I made that you didn't see in the video. But I actually ruined the first piece, and I ruined the first protractor plywood because I cut it too narrow. And then when I went to stick on the paper, and I actually went ahead and stuck it on, and I had to tear it off. And then I said, no, I'm going to just redo the whole thing. So yeah, balled up in the garbage is the other half of the protractor that didn't work. And the other piece of plywood is around here. I didn't cut it in the circle because you do that after you put the paper on. But yeah, so another mistake there. So yeah, you could make that more accurate by eye by doing that. But for the most part, something like this is for, I can't say rough work. It's for finished work, but finished work that's going to take a little bit more fine tuning. You know, I mentioned in a recent video that I was thinking about, you know, building a new shop. And this is not something that would be super special or anything. It'd be a very lightweight, very stripped down, very simple building, rectangular, maybe 10 feet wide and about 20 feet long. So actually smaller than this shop in total. And so I'd have to be more streamlined in how I'd lay things out in there. So I've been thinking about, like, over the past month or so, what I'm actually needing in there as in terms of, you know, like I'd be moving from here to there. It's just in my backyard, right? Up in the corner type thing. And what would I take and what would I get rid of? Okay. So, you know, I've been taking stock of what I have in here and the things that I use the most. And of course, the table saw would go. The workbench that I'm right in front of would go. Like, it would go up there. It wouldn't go away. It would go there. When I say it will go there. The miter saw station, almost certainly. And I could take that opportunity to build a new one, which I've been meaning to do, and incorporate what I talked about before, the space for the jointer in there rather than the bank of drawers that I have there now. As in, it'd be on almost like a big drawer, or actually on casters or rollers, and you pull it out and it's there for you to use. It would be along one of the long walls of the shop so you could put longer stock, right? And I would also build something that would have in-feed and out-feed support that would either swing up or also like extend out almost like drawers on either side, like either end of it, so that I could finally handle bigger stock on the jointer, which I can't do now because it's too short, right? So that's what I was thinking. Those 3 things for definite, sure. Also, the drill press, can't live without that now. It used to be a time when I would say that you don't need, like for a hobby shop, you don't need a drill press, but now I've completely flip-flopped on that and said you absolutely need a drill press. And if you can do what I did with mine over there with that electrically operated table going up and down, that'd be just like icing on the cake, because I don't know how I don't know how I managed without that before. I love it. You need to move the table up and down, you press the button and it goes up and down. It's amazing. Also, bandsaw, of course. Right next to that are the 2 sanders that sit there. The spindle sander that I kind of rebuilt a few years ago from an original rigid one. And the belts, the strip sander and this sander that I made a few years ago. Now, I talked recently about building a new belt sander, a 6x48, and that's what I'm thinking of replacing that sander with. A new build of a 6x48 sander, also with a built-in 9 or 12 inch disc sander as well. I like the disc sander that's on that, but it's too small for things that, I find that I want to do on a disc sander, which would be, tuning up a miter, right? There's almost nothing better than for tuning up a miter to make it a perfect fit than a disc sander that actually, can sand the whole thing. And for that, you need at least a 9 and preferably a 12, right? I'd like to go even bigger, but I never see myself needing, say, 6 inches from the center, like more than that, right? So replace the strip sander with a bigger, more ruggedly made, more powerful belt sander, and keep the spindle sander. That was another project that I was thinking about doing, designing and building a homemade spindle sander, oscillating spindle sander, but I don't know that I'm going to ever get to that. The other thing that's on this back wall over here that has to go, that must go to the new shop, would be that CNC machine. I've really come to like that. I was having a very specific problem with that for a while, and I couldn't figure it out. And I looked online for it, and what it was, stupidly, it was a lack of lubrication on the ball screw and the guides. And as soon as I hit that with some oil, I know some people say, well, you're not supposed to put oil in that. Well, I did, and it started working perfectly. And I've been using it quite a lot since then. So yeah, that would go. So 1, 2, 3 things, 4 things there for sure, with the strip sander being replaced by the belt sander, right? So I could see these being on the end wall of that shop as well as they are here, because this really works out well. The end wall with those 4 things, the workbench kind of clear, drill press there or over here in the new arrangement. Miter saw station on the long wall, either that side or that side over there. Table saw around about the middle. And then towards the front could be, well, I would have to move my cabinets that I built a few years ago. That's a guaranteed thing that would go up there. Now, one of the things I see down there that wouldn't go is my lathe. I almost never use that. And when I do, it's kind of a pain, because the first thing I have to do is pull out the jointer to get that out of the way. And then it's kind of stuck in there. And I've always got kind of like a pile of stuff down there I have to move, lay it on top of the horizontal surfaces that it has on it. And the other thing is like lumber storage. See this lumber rack over here, if I were to change this back into that would stay. Like I wouldn't be storing any large amounts of lumber in the new shop at all. So yeah, that's the loose plan, or at least the loose dream. I don't know if I'll follow through on it. I want to. I definitely want to, because like I said, I want this garage. I want this garage to put things in and to park in, because it's a real pain. I don't go to too many places during the winter, but every time I do, I got to get out and shovel snow off the van and scrape off the windshield. And it's a real pain when I have this that I could use. All I need to do is build another shack to put all this crap in, and then, I could put a new garage door on there and park in here. Well, end of my misery in that regard anyway, right? So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm tentatively planning. Anyway, we'll see if I follow through on it.
Why are you here?
Sir, to find a direction, sir.
A direction? Are you lost?
Sir, I suffer from a sense of disconnection.
Answer the question.
Sir, yes I am, sir.
Well, do I look like a road map to you?
Sir, no, sir.
I am a road map. I will lead and you will follow. I will teach and you will learn.